All right, I think we're live. Let me just check and make sure. I don't actually know what this thing tells me when I'm actually live. So I want to make sure. Yes, we are live. What's up? What is up? Happy Thursday. Oh, I got to tell you what, I got the best sleep, the most sleep, I should say, last night that I have in probably 3 weeks. I've been really putting this whole thesis to the test. Oh, hang on. Got to turn the water on. Yeah, I got some really good sleep last night, so I'm feeling pretty good today. Feeling pretty rested in a way that I have not felt rested in a while. And it's been interesting because the last couple of weeks I've really been trying to grind on what I'm doing, like what is it that I'm trying to do? Because I feel like it's not so much that I feel like I'm behind, but I feel like there's a lot to do, a little bit of catching up to do, as far as like the time that's put in. Because I think I transitioned from being a full-time doer in consulting, and because I had spent so much time being a doer, I transitioned out, and I think I kind of just expected all the notoriety of being being known in the space to just come with the name, and come with the fact that I'd been in it, for so long. But what I didn't realize is that all the time that I spent building up my skill set, building up my understanding, and building up my ability to consult, that creates value from an expertise standpoint, from an experience standpoint, but not necessarily from a branding standpoint. In fact, it doesn't create any value from a branding standpoint, because the only thing that I've done from that standpoint is, I've put out a couple of videos, been on a couple of webinars, but I'm not really known for anything beyond, I think people know who I am, and if they see my name, they recognize the name, and I've had people in conversation tell me that I'm surprised sometimes by the people that know who I am. One of my clients had a conversation with Ryan Dice from Digital Marketer, and apparently Ryan knows who I am, which is cool. It's kind of cool. I like being known. I'm obsessed with myself. Hang on, I gotta fix this mic. I should have done this the right way this morning. I should do it. Anyway, so it's kind of, that part of it's kind of cool, but the point that I'm making is the notoriety, sort of the brand, that requires being it requires being in the public. And I have spent too much time with this romantic notion that I could just sit at home and do my work, and then people would just know. People just know who you are. And the reason why I titled this video "The Do's of Entrepreneurship," because I think that the do's of entrepreneurship, especially when it comes to creating a brand, is time and effort and energy. Because the thing that I didn't want to give up in probably the first 2 years or so of consulting, was I didn't want to give up all my personal time. I had put a lot of emphasis on what my personal time was worth, and so my ideal scenario was, how can I get enough money to pay my bills and then not have to do anything else? Work 2 or 3 hours a day, and then just do all my personal stuff and let that be it. But I think, and for a long time that worked out really well. There was a good year, I think it was 2017, where I could do all the work that needed to be done. I was making plenty of money. All the work that needed to be done took me 2 or 3 hours a day, and I could spend the rest of the time watching YouTube videos, sleeping in, training, fighting, all that kind of stuff. But more recently, as I start to see my path and see what I'm trying to build, this agency thing, which I think there was kind of a mystery around announcing exactly what it is that I'm trying to do, and I wanted to kind of stay away from it, because I do announce it at the end of the podcast, like the last end of this next season, but I think I just want to talk about it. I don't know. I do kind of like the idea of building the suspense, because then this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to film my explanation. It's going to accompany the podcast. So the same day the podcast comes out, there will be a video explaining it so you can hear it in both ways. Maybe something like that. I don't know. Anyway, because as I saw the path to that, I realized my personal brand has got to be more powerful. I need to be not only well known but well respected. I need to be speaking from stages. I need to be asked to speak from stage. And it occurred to me that although I personally think that I have the chops to speak from stage, from any stage in the marketing space, without a doubt, why would anybody else want to give me a spot? Why would anybody else care, right? And there's really no reason for anybody else to care because nobody's talking about me because I'm not talking in the space, right? I'm not in part of the conversation. And so I think one of the big realizations that I've had is that I have to get over that romantic notion that people are just going to approach me because I'm good, even though I've specifically taken the approach of being small scale because I want to be closer to the realities of digital marketing today. Like, I don't take on very many clients because I'm doing all the work myself. And so I'm not dealing with a bunch of different clients, which means my clients aren't talking to other clients, which means nobody's really talking about me. And it's not that I have nothing to say, and it's not that not that there's not value that I can bring. It's just I'm not part of the conversation. It's like you can't expect I'm going to go a little bit, what's the word? Conspiracy theorist here for a bit, but just to entertain for the metaphor. If we decide collectively that the fate of the country is decided in back rooms at Mason lodges or whatever, I think that's one of the conspiracy theories, then if you're not part of that, if you're not at the Mason Lodge, part of that conversation, how can you expect your interest to be met? Or how can you expect to even be part of the conversation? Like if you want to be president, I don't want to be president. Well, I think I would love being president, but that's mostly just because I watch TV shows and I think I could do better than Kiefer Sutherland at being president. Yeah, president would be the worst. But if I wanted to be president, I have to, the people that make the decisions, because of the way that our political system works, the people that are going to make the decisions about nominations need to know who I am. And in order for them to know who I am, other people have to be talking about me. And in order for other people to be talking about me, they have to know who I am. They have to respect the things that I say, which means I need to be saying things. I need to be saying respectable things. And I think I have a lot to say, and I have a lot of respectable things to say, and I can help a lot of people. I know that because I've done it, and I continue to do it. But what I've run into is that I have had to really up my game in the social space. And let me tell you what, now we're finally getting to the point where I explain what the do's of entrepreneurship are, in my opinion. Time. The last 2 weeks, as I've really started to understand this, it's funny, so we just got this new couch. I'll turn the camera so you can see it. Right? I'll zoom in a little bit. Oh, you can't really see it, but that couch over there, you see that? So we just got this new couch, and Sue the other night said to me, I think I'm the only one that sits on this couch. And I was like, yeah. And it's because I've been working. I'm up at, like I said, I think I mentioned this in a video, but I'm up at 6:30, walk the dog. I'm back here by 7. I get everything ready for the show. I do the show from 7:30 to 8. From 8 o'clock until noon, I'm on client calls, normally. From noon to 12:30 or so, I scavenge around, make myself some food or whatever. From 12:30 until 4, I do client work. Well, till about 4, I do client work and finish some things up. Then the dog goes out again. And then from 5 until 9-ish, I cut videos, like my own videos. Like I'm recording everything that I'm doing right now. So anytime I'm on a client call, anytime I'm doing something that requires a little bit of explanation, I just turn the camera on and record it. And it becomes fodder for content, which is great because I don't have to do that in addition. But then I got to spend, it takes to cut even a 45-second little promo video that's going to go on Instagram or Twitter or Facebook. It takes like an hour. So if I'm going to create one big piece of content that's going to turn into a blog post, in fact, let me put it this way. Let me talk about the actual work that's going into what's coming from me over the next month or so. So I'm creating a content delivery calendar that's going to blow up. Like, I think a lot of people are going to unfollow me over the next month and a half because I'm going to be posting so consistently. So I've got little promo videos that I'm going to put out. I've got full between 5 and 10 minute long videos that are going to go on YouTube, and then there's a blog post that's going to go along with those. And then there's going to be one 30 to 45 second clip that is associated with that, as well as three images that I create that are going to be then posted in the coming weeks. So each one of these posts that have a video with it will have 4 pieces of ancillary content that are going to push the video, the article itself. So I've got to cut the big video, then I've got to cut the promo video, then I've got to make the images 1, 2, 3, then I've got to schedule it all, come up with captions and what I'm going to post to Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. Then I have to write the actual blog post. Then I have to get it scheduled. Then I have to go upload the video that's been rendered to YouTube and schedule it for the future. And then I got to schedule the blog post for the future. And then I've got all the posts and everything. And that's not even in addition to the podcast stuff that I'm doing. Because the podcast, right now, luckily, the podcast is just going. And I have that set, and it's going to run on autopilot. But what I want to do, like, I'm just getting myself a little bit ahead right now, which is why I'm working so long. But in the future, I want to get into a rhythm where once a week, I've got about a month's worth of content scheduled. And then I want to, every week, create the next week's worth of content. So video, so at the end of the week, maybe on like a Sunday, I'll spend 4 or 5 hours cutting a video, then making a promo video, then making the images, then creating the blog content, doing the whole thing, and then scheduling it for the future, so that I'm always about a month ahead. I've got that buffer room. But I mean, that's a lot of time that has to be spent. And that's on top of like a regular, if I'm being honest, it's probably 9 hours that I'm putting in for client work. So like I've harped on this quite a bit, I think, and it's been hot on my mind of late. But I think it's extremely important to remember that you have to put in the work, and it takes a lot of it. Because the work that you spend that makes you money, which is the work that you do for clients that do then pay you for it, that's your regular job. And then when you're an entrepreneur, the rest of the job is everything you have to do after hours and before hours to make sure that you have enough people that want to pay you money so that when you're actually working during working hours, that you can make it happen. Like today, I'll just give you my schedule for today, just so you get an idea. 8 o'clock, I got a call with a client talking about some content creation that we're going to put together. Probably going to rework. I'm shooting some videos for him and doing like content for his blog. And we're going to rework, I think, the format of them, but we got to talk about that. And I'm also getting his logo turned into a little animation for the intro and the outro of the videos. All right, so we're going to talk about that. After that, I have a call on behalf of another client to discuss it's like I believe, I don't actually know, that's part of the reason why we're talking with them, but it's an app that will convert your membership site content into an app that people can then download and have offline. At least that's the feature that I'm interested in talking to him about. After that, I have a call with a prospective client who might be outsourcing some of her client delivery stuff to me, maybe. And then I have a lunch meeting with a guy, and I don't actually know exactly where the lunch meeting is, so I have to still look that up. But my car right now has a flat, and so I can't drive it. So I'm going to have to take an Uber, which means I got to plan it out a little bit more. But it's going to be a lunch meeting, which means we're going to meet at noon, so probably an hour and a half's worth of a meeting. Then I got to get back because I have a mentorship call at 2, and then from after the mentorship call, 2 until 4 or so, first of all, I got to walk the dog, but then I've got to finalize a blog post that's going to go out in 2 weeks so that it can actually go. Then I have about 4 hours worth of client work to do, just random little things here and there. I got a blog post to write for one. I've got 2 blog posts to write, and a video to cut for another. I got to follow up with some people. I got to send invoices out, which I haven't even talked about. I got to look through some finance things and see. I got to pay one guy, but I have to make sure that I'm going to have enough money to be able to pay for some other things that are coming at the 1st of November. So I got to kind of juggle some of that. Then I also have some accounting stuff that I got to figure out, some tax issues that I got to solve at some point today. And then there's about 15 other things that I know already at the beginning of this day I'm going to have to push off till tomorrow, which I should do today, but I'm going to have to push them off till tomorrow. And so I estimate, I took a little bit of time off last night because I knew that I needed a little bit of a break. And so we sat down and watched the first 2 episodes of Fight World with Frank Grillo, which the first episode was pretty good. The second episode was Muay Thai. And it was good, except you don't care about this, but I do, so I'm going to talk about it. It was good, except that he didn't really convey Muay Thai very, very well, I don't think. I think he conveyed his respect for it, but I know that a lot of people that are really into Muay Thai are going to be a little bit disappointed with the way he did it. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. So I got to bed a little bit early last night, which was good. But tonight, 11:30, 12 at the earliest, probably. Yeah, and then tomorrow, back at it again. I got a full day's worth of just stuff that's got to get done. More client meetings, more stuff. And so, I already know going into every day, I got nothing. I can do nothing else. This is my life. These are the dues of entrepreneurship. Working all the time. No breaks, no rest. You work, you work, you work, you work, you work. And my hope is that because I've already established expertise, because I've already paid my dues in the industry, and people do know my name, they just don't talk about me. But because my name is known, and because I have that to bank on, I'm hoping that my path isn't going to take quite as long. But I'm patient. I have to be. It'll take as long as it's going to take. And so it's just very interesting to think about. And yeah. So anyway, in case you are watching this now, which nobody is, so it's fine. But I am going to start releasing, for the sake of the content calendar that I talked about before, I'm going to start releasing the podcast episodes on Thursdays. So it's going to be Think Like Me Thursday, because alliteration, and we're marketers and we have to. So Thursdays, so that the episode 3 comes out in 15 minutes. Actually, it's 13 minutes. So that'll be launched. There will be some posts that are coming later today to announce it. Then I'm going to start doing, because I have these other hobbies and things that I do, I want to talk about all of them. So on Fridays, I'm going to post photos that I've taken. So it'll be Photo Friday, just as like a little, check this out kind of thing. So Fridays will be those, and then we'll continue to post content for the rest of it. And I'm excited about it. We'll see kind of what happens. A lot of work went into it. And so I suspect that a lot of work is going to need to keep going into it for about 6 months before I can really get an idea of what the ROI is and all that work. But I'm willing to do that because it's fun for me. I honestly am enjoying the process of putting these things together. And some of the things I've put together I'm pretty proud of. So anyway, check it out. Peace. We'll see you tomorrow.